Here's how I went from B, one of the easiest medium demons in all of Geometry Dash, to Accu, an extreme demon, in less than 60 days. Let's go. Step 1. This is the best method to practice levels. What I did was practice the levels from start positions, starting from the end of the level, going backwards to the beginning. First, on B, I started doing runs from 80 to 100, then 60 to 100, then 40, then 30, you get it. And eventually, I beat the level by just doing this in about 200 attempts. Once you do this, you can move on to your first hard demon. Now, as my first hard demon, I selected 9 circles. This level has really balanced wave gameplay, has memory endings and tight ship sections, which test your skill. The best thing you can do with this level is constantly practicing the wave, the memory, and the ship. The ball and the first cube will come to you naturally, and you just need to focus on these super hard parts. Once you get this down, the level becomes really consistent, and that's how I beat it in about 300 attempts. Not bad at all. Now the insane demons. So the medium demons, the hard demons, they were pretty easy. It took around 200, 300 attempts. But the insane demons, they are where the difficulty really spikes. In my personal experience, the insane demons were the difficulty I played the most, and I think that's why most of the levels took me lower attempts the farther I got in. Magma Bound was my third insane demon, and this was the point where I really felt like I was starting to get pretty good at this game. I beat this level in around 800 attempts, and my strategy for this level was just to practice 50 to 100, and then just practice 70 and 80 to 100. The cube in the middle at like 60, it's not bad. Anybody can do that, but really practice the clicks at like 82, 83, 84. That 3% area is probably the hardest part of the entire level. When those clicks feel like they're frame perfects, they're not, but they are a lot harder than they seem that they are. This spider is not really bad. The spider at 70, it's just high clicks per second. It gets really consistent really fast. And I felt myself dying at 82 almost every single attempt past that point. But the insane demons, just practice them. I would recommend playing at least 5 before you go to your first extreme, just to build a ton of skill in fast gameplay, high CPS, and all of the above. Anyways, finally, we move on to our second insane demon, Stalemate. Now, Stalemate is the most attempts I've ever spent on an insane demon at like 2,700. Now, the thing I would recommend for this level is practicing 60 to 100 over and over and over and over again. People say this is the easiest insane demon in the entire game. I completely disagree with them. This level is actually pretty difficult. Now, I would say this is actually easier than Magma Bound, and it's just because I'm bad at this type of gameplay. It's UFO, it's weird click patterns, and it's just memory gameplay, which obviously I'm awful at. So what I would recommend for this level is practicing the memory section at the end, practicing that ship at 70, and then practicing the UFO at 60. Those parts, once you get those down, you're gonna beat the level 100%. The first part of the drop, it's not bad. You can do it pretty consistently. But yeah, I would just recommend practicing the second half of the level so much, especially that one UFO at 63. You know what I'm talking about if you played Stalemate. Anyways, let's move on to the moment you've all been waiting for, the extreme demons. Let's go. Accu, where do I even get started with this level? The best thing to do when beating this as your first extreme is to consistently practice 70 to 100. Like most of the levels I've played, they are very ending carried, and I don't know why I always pick levels that are like this, but Stalemate was ending carried, B was ending carried, 9 Circles was ending carried, Windy was ending carried, all the stuff that I've beaten was ending carried. But what I would recommend for this level, being an extreme demon, it's gonna be very difficult to learn at first. But what I would recommend doing before you play from zero or do any of that stupid stuff, play one practice run, get an idea of the gameplay. That is the best strategy when you're going into a new level. Practice it one time, get an idea of the gameplay, try to thoroughly practice most of the parts. Don't just spam checkpoints and skip through everything. Then move to a start position copy and go from the front couple start positions at like 10, 20, 30, practice the pre-drop, and then practice the ending. And then the drop will be like kind of filler in the middle. The ending is definitely the hardest part of the level. The drop is probably the easiest part of the level. But anyways, you guys have heard me talking. Now, let's play the completion and my reaction. Here we go.
Far. I beat it! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! I beat AcU! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! I beat it! Oh! What? Oh my god! What?
Yo. I said he flips everything. He's like, no.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Yes! 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 As always, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video, maybe a next completion, and bye.